Good morning, kids. Welcome back to our social studies class. Hope you all have revised the previous explanation that I taught you, the two ranges of Himalayas, that is Himadri and Himachal, right? Today we will further proceed with the southernmost range of Himalayas, that is Sub-Himalayan range. It is also named as Shivalik. Children, they are also called outer Himalayas as they are lying in the outermost region. They extend from river Indus to Brahmaputra. As they are lower in lower ranges compared to the other two ranges and are formed by the erosion caused by the rise of the Himalayas, they are called sub-Himalayan range. And even they are called Shivalik because it is believed that it is named after Lord Shiva, right? It is the youngest when compared to the other two ranges. As the average height of this range, this is lowest also, not only youngest but they are lowest also, as their height is the height of the peaks, is 900 to 1200 meters. Unlike Himachal, which are over 3700 meters, and Himadri, which are over more than 6000 meters. These ranges, Shivalik ranges, children, they extend westwards. I'll show you from river Teesta. See here, this purple color you are seeing here is river Teesta in Sikkim. They are moving from eastern part of India to western part. This next to Sikkim is your Nepal. In Nepal they move, then comes Uttarakhand. Nepal is a country, not in our country. And next is Uttarakhand state, then Jammu and Kashmir, and further then they move to Pakistan, northern part of Pakistan. Shivalik ranges, these are Shivalik ranges. Here in this range, children, we find many dunes. You are familiar with the Dehradun, I believe. Most of you are familiar with Dehradun? Yes. These dunes are nothing but they are also valleys. In local language, valleys are called dune. And these dunes we call only the dunes, valleys of Shivalik ranges are called dunes because they are longitudinally made. That you will study again in higher classes. How? There are many dunes lying in this area in Shivalik ranges. Some are like Potli Dune, Kotli Dune, and many others. The foothills of these Shivalik ranges, children, they are called Terai region. Now, what are foothills? They are nothing but the base of a mountain or a mountain range. The base of Shivaliks here are called Terai. Now you may know what is Terai region. I'll show you the Terai region also here. These are foothills of Shivaliks. They are lowland region in northern plains of India, and they lie south of the Shivalik hills and north of the Indo-Gangetic plain that you will study further. Children, the Shivalik ranges, they are not continuous chain of mountains. They are divided, they are broken up because of the rivers that are flowing from the greater Himalayas and Himachal ranges. So we say they are not continuous. And this region is very fertile. This Terai region is very fertile, and they have thick forests. Many forests grow here. Many good for timber wood it is. We get many forest resources from these areas. As the climate is very favorable for even growing medicinal plants, we get many medicinal plants from this region. Herbal plants we get. If you watch Ramdev doing yoga, many times he shows many herbal plants. Even Patanjali is at Haridwar, you see, because he is growing these herbal plants in these areas. So it is becoming more popular now. And farmers yield high production. Farmers can get good production of crops in this region because of the fertility of soil. So now you are clear with the Shivalik range, I hope. Now we have completed all the three ranges of Himalayas, that is Shivalik, Himachal and Himadri. Now let us know something more about Himalayan mountains, children. See, Himalayan mountains are very significant role they play in a country. I mean, they are very important for our country. Let us discuss initially how they influence the climate of our country, how they make the climate of our country pleasant. See children, as you know that these Himalayas are mighty or huge mountains. They are having such a huge height. So they act as a natural wall from the northern part of India. You have your walls at home. Your house is made of walls, isn't it? Why? Because these walls, what they are doing, they are protecting you from the weather, cold weather, hot weather, rains, even rains. The roof is covering with the roof is protecting you from the rain and all. Same way, these walls, these Himalayan walls are natural boundaries. They prevent the entering of chilled winds that are blowing from the Central Asia. That is Siberian winds we call. They are extremely cold. Because of these walls, those extreme winds during winter season, they are not entering our country and making it extreme cold. Secondly, they even contribute in attracting rainfall. We see that these monsoon winds that are picked up from the Indian Ocean and Bay of Bengal, because of evaporation during summer, what happens, they get moisture ladened, and when these winds they reach Himalayas, they strike Himalayas, they are obstructed over there, and they do not move, they do not get drifted towards the Central Asia, they are stopped there. When they hit Himalayas, they get condensed because of the cold weather there, and outpouring heavy showers in the northern plains. Because of this Himalayas, they are getting enough rain in the northern plains. Had there been no Himalayas, our country would have turned into deserts because of the scarcity of rainfall. Secondly, they are the source of many major rivers like Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra. Many huge rivers are originating from these Himalayas. See, I show you these rivers, and even not only these rivers, even the tributaries of these rivers are originating from Himalayas. Children, there are many glaciers in this Himalayan region. You have studied in previous chapter. What are glaciers? The slow moving river of ice is called glacier. And you all know that Ganga originates from the glacier Gangotri. Likewise, Yamuna originates from the glacier Yamunotri. And Brahmaputra originates from the glacier Angshi. As these rivers originate from Himalayas, from these glaciers, they are perennial. Perennial in the sense throughout the year they flow. They do not dry even in summer. Unlike other rivers of south or other rivers of plateau region, we can say, they dry up because they totally depend on rain. Whereas these rivers, what happens in summer is the snow melts during summer and adds water to these rivers. That is the reason why they are flowing throughout the year. The water level in these rivers is not affected by season, even during summer season. Children, as you know, these rivers are the lifeline of the country. Many dams are built on these rivers. Electricity is generated because of these dams. They provide water for cultivation, that is irrigation, cultivation of crops. So these rivers are really lifeline of the country, and even water is very precious. In fact, the pure water which we get from these higher ranges of Himalayas, they are in its purest form. So these rivers are helping us in generating electricity, cultivating the crops, and for providing water for different purposes. Now, children, let us come to the point that how these rivers that flow from the mountain regions, they make the land so fertile, the land of northern plains, how they are making it fertile. As you all know, we have studied even in the landforms of the world that rivers that flow from the mountain regions, they carry silt or fine soil called alluvium. And what happens with the force of water? It flows down. The silt flows down, and then later when its force decreases, when it comes to the flat region, what happens? It gets settled, deposited in the plain region in the form of sediments. And because of this fine soil, which is called alluvium also, which is settled in these plain regions, because of that good soil, good crops can be cultivated by the farmers. We get good yield of crops. So these rivers are making the northern plains very fertile. Now let us discuss how they defend or protect us from our neighbors from attacking our country, from northern border especially. Children, all of you watch news, I know. You might be knowing that we have certain conflicts with our neighboring countries like China, Pakistan. We don't have very cordial relationships. Or friendly relationships with these countries because of we are sharing many physical features also with these other countries. And often incidents like cross-border terrorism, and they are attacking on and often in our border areas. There is a fight going on always. So these mighty Himalayas from the northern part of India, they prevent the enemies penetrating from north. In simple words, you can remember, their armies cannot enter easily from our northern borders. As you know, it is very difficult to climb these Himalayan ranges. They are cladded with snow throughout the year, and even the weather is, because of these snow cladded mountains, the weather is also very extreme cold. It is not very conducive to enter easily for a normal person. So you can say that these northern Himalayas or Himalayan region, Himalayan mountains are just acting as natural bodyguards for our country. Now I hope you will agree with the fact that Himalayas have changed our destiny and are the greatest gift the nature could give us. They are also the abode of gods, as many pilgrimage shrines like Badrinath, Kedarnath, Amarnath are situated here. I hope you are clear with the topics discussed. Further, we'll continue with the northern plains in our next class. Till then, keep learning, children, and have a nice time and stay happy. Thank you. Bye bye.